I have in my hands the brand new November 2022 JDM Bento Box. Today, I'm gonna go through this. We're gonna do an unboxing, kind of a first look. I'm gonna go through the baits, talk about why I selected them, how to use them so you guys can enjoy this box to its fullest potential. Now, if you subscribe, these just shipped out to you. I'm excited for you to get them in your hands. If you're not a subscriber, stay tuned. We're gonna talk about a bunch of really cool baits and hopefully there'll be some insightful information on how to use them so you can improve your own fishing. So if you'd like to join along, let's go. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle. The Hookup Tackle is the world's largest showcase of Megabass products, featuring baits and colors not found at any other dealer. The Hookup also offers a wide display of OSP, Evergreen, Deps, Lucky Craft, Jackal, and many more. The Hookup Tackle is owned and operated by family and staffed by guides and verified tackle nerds who love helping anglers elevate their craft. If you're in the Phoenix area, we'd love to have you stop by our showroom and check out the wonderful world of Megabass and the Hookup for yourself. If you shop online, there are almost 10,000 SKUs of Megabass products alone, with hundreds of other companies and new products being added daily. So next time you're looking for that hard to find bait, that color your fish have never seen before, or maybe you just want to elevate your game, look at thehookuptackle.com. Welcome back, my friends. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, the Tackle Otaku on Instagram. We are the Hookup Tackle USA. Today we are talking about our subscription box, or I should say my subscription box, the Tackle Otaku's JDM Bento Box. Now, us here at the Hookup Tackle, we're not a subscription-based company. We are just an open to public retail store, but this is a little side project that's kind of like my little baby, right? So every month we do a real fun subscription. There's only 200 boxes a month, 180 of those go to subscribers, 20 we keep back just to make sure everybody gets theirs delivered and there's nothing damaged. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much. Love having you on. Hopefully this is bringing you a lot of joy. If you're not a subscriber, every quarter we will open up the subscription to whatever is open. We run about a 98% renewal, which is really high, so hardly anybody ever drops off of this subscription. For you guys that aren't subscribers, those extra 20 boxes that we hold back every month, a couple weeks after we send bentos, we do put those on our website and offer them available for purchase without a subscription. So there is also another avenue there for you guys to keep your eyes open and maybe snag one of these, even if you aren't on the subscription base. So if you keep your eyes on my Instagram, you kind of know when I've shipped them each month. Usually 2 weeks after that, we give it that buffer to make sure everybody has received them and there hasn't been any damage. And then we'll put those remaining boxes on the website. So there's a chance every month also that you can score one, even without being on the subscription. If I could do 1,000 of these a month, I would. We will work on ways to, increase some boxes, I guess, for the future so we can get more people involved. But for now, just keep your eyes on social media and we will do some fun things in 2023. Some raffles, some drawings, some different things to get you guys involved. So every month we do a box that includes $100 worth of tackle for $100. Every month there's a limited edition Megabass Ito Vision 110 and PopMax. Those are kind of the stars of the box. And then the reason I called it a bento box, obviously a play on words, probably the best first name ever, Ben, obviously, right? But like a bento box, it's just kind of a collection of some cool JDM tackle, things that I think everybody should be exposed to. Some months they might be themed, some months it's just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. We've done some limited edition items in here, like last month we had a limited edition Lucky Craft LV200 in a custom color. We've done some first drops, like when Jackal launched their bounty fish, it launched in the bento box before it hit shelves, right? So it's a really cool little box to be subscribed to, of course, but even if you're not subscribed, it's a cool box to keep on top of. So this is gonna be a new segment we'll do each month, just so you can see why I'm choosing the items. These are items inside that are cool to me, that I would love for you guys to have exposure to. Now, obviously, some of you might be in Florida, some of you might be in Wisconsin, some of you might be in Oregon. It's impossible for every one of these items in this box to speak to all of you. What I ask is you just keep an open mind. No matter what, you're getting a limited edition 110 in PopMax. So it's worth it right there. But if maybe every few months one of these other baits speaks to you and helps you catch more fish, then it's a success. Obviously, I'd love you to love everything in here, but the reality is that everybody gravitates towards different things. So I just invite you to have fun with it, be exposed to some cool new tackle. Let's break it down. Are you ready, CJ?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're just gonna start right here at the top. Obviously, the star of every box is the limited edition special color 110 in PopMax. Now, if you are a subscriber, right, this is your warning. I'm about to show you everything in your box. So if you don't want to know what's in your box, you want to wait for this to show up, this is where you tune off, right? But if you want to see what's coming, here we go. This month's special color for the Megabass 110 and PopMax is a really cool one. I've been super psyched for this all year. I am a huge fan of matte finishes, so this is right up my alley. I introduce to you guys the 110 and PopMax in matte Hasu. So this is a super dope color. I'll take it out of the package so you guys can see it. Matte Hasu is a color that Megabass has done in the iSlide 262. And it's always been my favorite color in that bait. I've always wanted it in a 110. Matte finishes for me are colors that are just very natural, but they still have a lot of body and they really stand out in the water. So they're great baits to throw on cloudy days, on stormy days, low light conditions, and conditions where the fish get a lot of pressure. We fish the Colorado River lakes out here in Arizona a lot, lakes like Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, Lake Mojave. Those lakes are crystal clear and they get a lot of pressure. So throwing a matte finish sometimes is just different enough. It takes that shine away, it takes the flash away, and it's just this muted bait fish, right? That causes fish to strike and draws, you know, great reactions from them. So I think you guys will really love this. It's a really good complementary color to the last few boxes that we've had. So there you go, matte Hasu in the Ito Vision 110. And by the way, that is a transparent matte. So when you hold this to the light, you're gonna see the light goes through it. Let me open up the PopMax for you as well so you can see that. Both are super sexy.
Oh, the dirty.
Yeah.
Such a good looking bait.
Yep, love this color. And there you go. There is matte Hasu in the PopMax as well. So matte finishes are not done very often. So anytime we get a good one, it's super exciting. So there you go, guys. The 110 in PopMax for the November Bento matte Hasu. Enjoy. Let's keep going through the box. All right, guys, let's keep going through the box. The next item I'm actually going to set aside for a minute because it's going to go along with some other items. So here you go. The next item is an item that we just released. We just launched here about a week ago. This is from Owner Japan. So GetNet/Cultiva is kind of the Owner Japan brand. This is the Burikin swimmer. Now, this is a rigged swim bait that I think everybody should have. I think at this point, almost everybody throws a mag draft, right? Yeah. I think everybody owns a mag draft. This is a great one to throw kind of in conjunction with that and maybe compare and contrast and see what you guys think. It's been in Japan for many years. It's kind of one of those sleeper swim baits that doesn't get a lot of attention, but is absolutely deadly, has won a ton of money. I'm gonna break it open for you guys so you can see what it is about this bait that's super cool. So it's got, you know, obviously some similarities, right? It has like these kind of side fins similar to, you know, like a mag draft or something might have that's gonna give it some stability. But what the Burikin swimmer does is it's designed to fish incredibly slow with a really nice kind of side-to-side head rock. So they've built it to where this head has this rock like this as that tail is kicking. And it's a really ultra slow moving bait that you can also fish faster, right? So you can burn this thing, but really where it really shines is at those slow speeds when you need something just creeping along really beautifully. Now, there are some slots on the bill. I wanna make sure you guys know what everything is on here. So you'll notice there's a couple of holes here in the bait. So this first hole is designed as a nail weight hole, okay? So it's not actually a hole, it's just kind of like a marking spot. If you wanted to fish this bait a little quicker, you could insert a nail weight. This is the spot to do it. A lot of times when we have a bait and we're trying to fish it faster, we're kind of guessing, right? We're sticking something on the side and then it's going this way, so we stick something on this side and then it's too much. So it's always kind of a guessing game with paddle tails. They've kind of taken the guessing game out, so there's a couple little holes there. You can just insert them straight into the bait, and it just kind of counterbalances at the bottom, and that will allow you to go at a faster speed. There's also another little slit down here, and that is designed for your hook. So if you wanted to attach the hook inside of the bait, you can put the hook in there and that will give it basically an anchor point. So that is an option as well. Now, you notice these kind of two fins back here. These are designed to cover your hook and basically anchor your hook down like this. Now, if it's rigged like this, this is going to give you the greatest flexibility and speed, okay? This will allow you to fish it ultra slow all the way to a burn right at the surface. Now, of course, if you get going with anything too fast, it'll eventually roll, and that's where the nail weights can start going in. But this is the recommended rigging way here, and then of course when the fish come up and they get it, it's just soft plastic fins, right? So once they're hooked, it's going to come out and you're gonna have the fish. Everybody is getting one of these. It is a 5.4 inch. This is the full size. There's also a junior size, but I thought everybody should have this one because a 6-inch mag draft is kind of the staple, right? Yeah. So this is kind of the closest one to there. So if we're gonna compare and contrast something that's similar, this is a great place to start. Just to spec it out for you guys, it's 137 millimeters, so again, 5.4 inches and 32 grams, so just over an ounce, so kind of right in that 6-inch mag draft sizing, okay? Now, I'm gonna set this aside because we're gonna come back to this in just a second.
That's such a good idea with the fins. I'm surprised no one's thought about that before.
Yeah, it's really interesting,
yeah.
Right? So just a fun fact on this little bait. First time I ever went to Japan and posted about it on my social media. You know, I'd been a bunch of times before, never really like, you know, chronologically kept track of my trip, right? Like it would just be like me eating food, right? So the first time I actually went there and tried to, you know, post on a daily basis, dude, my DMs just blew up with people wanting me to bring these back. And they were offering me 100, 200 bucks a piece for them when I was over there. And we're talking about full-time touring pros. Like, dude, I'll give you whatever you can get if you can get some of these swim baits. So, you know, keep that in mind. It's one of those that's worth some time. I hope you love it. You know, you may not, and it doesn't hurt my feelings if you don't, but I think it's worth time for you to try it, give it a shot, and no matter if you're fishing from ponds or lakes or whatever, you're gonna have success on that, okay? Now, quick note, I mentioned earlier that each box is $100 worth of tackle, $400. This is November's kind of a weird month, right? We're in the middle of a Veterans Day sale right now. You've got Black Friday coming up in a couple of weeks. So look, I know that a lot of these items you're gonna be able to get on sale 15, 20% off, whatever it may be. So this month is a little bit more elevated. I've kind of built in a buffer to make sure that you guys are taken care of. I didn't want to give you a $100 box. You're like, wait a minute, it's only $80 because Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so the math is much higher on this box than it is for the 11 other months. So just keep that in mind too. There's a couple extra goodies in here for you. I didn't mention that this month is a bait fish theme. This whole box is kind of themed that way. So there's a couple other hard baits inside of here. Everybody is going to get a Deps Evoke crankbait. Now this is one of our favorite square bills. Depending on which box you get, you're either gonna get a 1.2, a 1.8, or a 2.0. Those numbers are reflective on the depth of the dive of the bait. So 1.2 is 1.2 meters, 1.8 is 1.8 meters, 2.0 is 2.0 meters, right? So they're all gonna be in different bait fish patterns. What makes an Evoke so great as a square bill is one of our favorite fishermen, Kenta Kimura, designed this bait to act as close to a balsa bait as possible. And you hear that said a lot, right? You hear that spoken about crankbaits a lot. But what he wanted to achieve is one of the great things about balsa is when you get balsa and you need it to pause, that buoyancy of balsa and the ability of it to deflect and come through wood and cover is unbelievable. The downside to a balsa crankbait is because most of them are hand carved, almost never are two crankbaits identical, right? Everyone kind of has its own little attitude, right? So you'll buy one and you'll be like, holy shit, like this is the best one. And then you might have to buy 15 or 20 more to find one that does the same thing that that first one did. Deps and Kenta set out to create a bait that you didn't have that problem, that everyone was going to perform the same way. And the way they did it is they did this by creating one cavity. So there's nothing internal in here. There's no internal skeleton structure. There's no internal weight transfer. It's just one big cavity. And what that does is it allows the bait to come through cover and bounce off cover unlike any other square bill. If I'm fishing super heavy wood, I can throw this, I'll put this right in the wood, the same place I would with like a Texas rig, right? And I have all the confidence in the world that this thing is going to come through and bounce up and over all of those logs. It's just an absolutely incredible crankbait. So most of you might have this in your arsenal already. I chose some of my favorite colors to go in these boxes, so enjoy the addition. By the way, they all come with Ryugi hooks, so they're good to go right out of the box. So that is the Evoke. Everybody's gonna get one of those. Going a little bit smaller, I included a really cool little bait, especially going into winter and when fishing gets really tough. This is a bait from Lucky Craft Japan. This is the Bevy Shad. Now this is the Bevy Shad 60 SP. That means it's the suspending model. There's a variety of colors. They're all gonna be bait fish type patterns. Now this is a smaller, finessier, what we would call a shad style bait. So a shad style bait is kind of like a jerkbait, crankbait hybrid, right? You can fish it like a crankbait. You can literally just cast it and wind it and it's going to just crank like a crankbait. You can fish it like a jerkbait where you throw it out there and you give it twitches and it will dart side to side and flash. But where a shad bait is really effective is like in the winter and as water cools and gets cold and the bait really have these tighter movements, right? They're just making these short little bursts and then they're getting cold and they're just kind of stopping. That's where a shad style bait is really effective. So the way I recommend trying to fish these, or at least a starting point, is to make a cast. You're gonna probably wanna use a spinning rod for this. It's 3/16 of an ounce. So some of you might have casting gear that will work for this. Lighter line, 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, something like that. And try just making sweeps with it. So instead of casting it and winding it in or jerking it or twitching it, try to cast it out there and then just make a sweep and then a pause, okay? And then a sweep and a pause. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this bait to, as you're sweeping, it's gonna kind of dive down and then your pause, it's just gonna kind of suspend there. And Lucky Craft Suspend is probably the best suspend of any brand. They're really a true suspend in almost all water temperatures, okay? So that's it. Now you can play with it. You can jerk it, you can twitch it, you can do whatever you want, right? Now inside you're gonna hear some real high pitch. Let's not get that treble hook in my fingernail. Real high pitch. Yeah. Here you go. Okay, so that's designed to imitate what is referred to as like a shad click. So again, when water cools and shad get tighter and their skeletons get tight, as they move, they create these little clicks, and that's what that kind of sound is designed to imitate, okay? So if you need to get super finesse and super dialed in and downsize, this can be a great one. Also a great one for fishing in current. You can fish it in ponds, streams, rivers, lakes. So anywhere you guys are fishing, they'll eat this. It's obviously designed as a bass lure. Trout eat this thing, crappie eat this thing. I mean, you can catch pretty much anything that feeds on a minnow is gonna eat this, okay? So that's the Bevy Shad from Lucky Craft. All right, now I got a couple of soft baits for you and a couple of toys, okay? So I try to put in each month a couple of items that everybody can just take out and use. No matter where you are, you're gonna have success with them. But I also wanna put in a couple of items that are just kind of fun, right? I just want you to go out and play and try something different. So I've got a couple of soft plastics and I'm gonna spend some time showing you guys how to rig these, and I've got another little treat in there as well for you, okay? Everybody is going to get a pack of Deps Sakamata shads. Okay, now Sakamata shad is essentially a soft plastic fluke style bait. You're gonna see it and it's gonna look very similar to a fluke. You can certainly fish it like a fluke. You can fish it like a Senko. It's gonna have a horizontal fall. You notice it kind of has these kind of front head fins right here that act as stabilizers. But how a lot of guys use this, when you see guys, like when you see Bassmaster Elite guys or any of the Japanese depths anglers having a lot of success on a Sakamata, a lot of them are fishing it like a swim bait. So you can Carolina rig this as well. It's a great one to have on the bottom, but a lot of guys are casting it out and they're swimming it in the same way you would as a skinny dipper. And those two fins, as they flex on the water, these two little kind of gills right here, they are causing this bait to have this super tight side-to-side action. It's not like a big exaggerated tail kick like you would expect in a paddle tail. It's a real tight action. Try that. Try fishing it like a fluke. You can try fishing like Senko. You can drag it on the bottom if you just love throwing a Carolina rig or something. It comes in all kinds of sizes, 4-inch all the way to 8. So everybody in these boxes is going to get either a 5-inch or a 6-inch depending on the box, which I find to be the most usable size. So no matter where you are, you can incorporate that. But don't be afraid to experiment using it as a swim bait. So everybody is going to get a pack of 5/0. What are these, CJ?
Oni swimmers.
5/0 Oni swimmers. If you guys have been around here, you've heard CJ refer to this as the wrong thing about 7 million times, right?
7 million and one.
Yeah,
maybe.
so owner flashy swimmer, I almost said Oni too.
It just sticks.
Yeah, owner flashy swimmer is a hook that all of us use, should be in everybody's arsenal. The 5/0's a perfect size as like an all-around swim bait size. So if you guys are throwing skinny dippers, Sakamata shads, spark shads, this next bait we're gonna talk about, slow shiner, it's gonna fit all of those. All you need to do on this thing, by the way, is it's got a centering pin. You're just gonna stick it in the front of the bait. The bait is going to twist on. Okay, and then when you rig this, I want you to come right here to the bend of the hook, line that up with the bait. You can see that right there. And that is where you want the hook to actually penetrate. And there's markings on the top of the bait, so just make sure it comes right out straight on the back there. And there you go. Now you have a swim bait that's gonna act very subtle, similar to a skinny dipper, but a little bit more low key, I would say. There's another little fun thing in here, if you guys wanna keep playing. And that is this. This is from Valley Hill, and this is called a bone joint. Now Valley Hill, they collabed with another company in Japan called Kaisu to make this joint. This is a tech that Kaisu has had in some of their baits in the past, and so Valley Hill collabed with them to just kind of make individual packs like this that you guys can use. Now, a bone joint is essentially like two kind of, barb type ends, and it's got this flexible kind of middle section in here, okay? So what you can do with this is, and again, this is for fun, so play, experiment, have some fun, try some different things, right? If you wanted to clip your bait and make this a segmented bait, right? That's where that bone joint is gonna come into play. So let's say we wanted to make this kind of a segmented bait. Let's say we wanted to cut it off. What do you say, back or front? How would you like to play today, CJ?
I usually go back further.
So I'm thinking right about here. You think that's far enough?
Maybe a little more ahead.
A little more ahead.
Yep. Like, yeah.
There maybe?
In there. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so let's do that. So we're gonna cut this off, okay? Okay, so now we have a 2-piece Sakamata shad. Okay, it's like a travel Sakamata shad.
Travel Sakamata shad?
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, exactly. So we take our bone joint and we just line it up. Now you can play with where to stick it to. So she said. I usually just go right in the middle, right? So it's gonna have kind of a stopping point. And then we can do the same on this side. And again, we're gonna go right in the middle. We're gonna line that up. Get in there. Too much coffee this morning. Thank you, CJ.
Yeah.
Now we have basically an articulated Sakamata shad. Okay, so now it's going to act different in the water, right? So now as we twitch, it's going to cause that back end to articulate and possibly move a little different direction or a different width, or as we swim it, it's gonna give it a little bit more of a tail exaggeration. So it's just a fun little thing to play with that you can play with any baits that you wanna do, but we find that it's effective mainly on this style bait, something that you're twitching, some kind of fluky style bait really is what it was designed to do, but hey, it's supposed to be for fun. So knock yourself out. So feel free to use that as well. Now I'm gonna set this aside because I'm gonna come back to this yet again. The next bait in here is a bait by Dran Crazy called the Slow Shiner. Dran Crazy is a kind of a smaller, nichier brand. We've put some Dran Crazy hard baits in the bentos before, so if you've been with us for a while, then you're semi-familiar with the Dran Crazy brand. Now, Slow Shiner is a really unique paddle tail, 9 million paddle tails on the market, right? So what could possibly be different about this? Well, this one has a little air pocket joint, okay? So you see a lot of baits that have joints now, right? And one of the problems to putting a joint is that a lot of times they're real soft and they kind of tear, right?
Yep.
Well, this guy has this air pocket joint, so you can see that right there. So it's kind of built into the bait that allows it to have a different type of flex that allows it to have a kick all by itself without the head having to move. So similar in concept to the Birkin swimmer that it was designed to fish slow. Same thing with the Slow Shiner. It's designed to fish slow, and they're able to keep it moving slow by jointing this back end with that little air pocket. Now, a couple rigging ways here, and let me demonstrate this for you. Now, of course, you can go with the Owner Flashy Swimmer if you want to fish it on its own. So you can certainly just use that as well, and that's going to fit on there and just throw it around and fish it like any normal paddle tail. So that would be the easiest way to use this bait for sure. There's another little toy in here. Okay, and this is also from Valley Hill. This is a Trebling through pipe. This is something that a lot of you have been doing forever using like straws.
Yeah.
Right? So like I used,
Yeah.
dude, I used to raid McDonald's for those little like red coffee straws.
Yeah.
And insert them. This is essentially the same idea. What it does is you can insert this into your bait. Here's the Trebling through pipe. So it's a hard plastic, basically pipe, but then it has these reverse barbs on it. Okay, so unlike a straw, it's actually gonna stay. So with the straw, a lot of times you have to put it in and super glue it and really get it to stay. This is something you can do on the fly. So you don't need to prep it before, you don't need super glue, you don't need to do a lot of fancy stuff. All you need to do is figure out which direction you want this to go. And why are you doing this, CJ?
You're gonna rig it as a line through.
We're gonna rig it as a line through.
Which is money.
So there are times when the fish just want that slow, methodical swim of a line through. And again, you can experiment with this, you can put it in different places, but as you insert this in, those reverse barbs now are gonna hold that in place and they're going to lock it in. Now you're gonna have this little excess there. You can take your scissors and you can just kind of cut off that excess. And if you're concerned about it or you really want to put this through abuse, like say you want to skip it up underneath some docks or something like that, you could always super glue it as well if you wanted to. But the reason I love that pipe is because really you don't have to do anything other than just insert it in and it locks in place and then just becomes part of the bait. So now the line will go through the head, out the bottom, and you can tie a treble on, and now you're gonna have an even slower moving bait because you don't have the weight of the hook, and you have a hook on the bottom, so if you have smallmouth, spots, something that are coming up and kind of T-boning it, but not sucking the entire thing in, that's a great way to hook them. Your hookup ratio is gonna go up, and then it's gonna be able to slide away from your bait as well. So again, it's just something to have fun. Try it with some paddle tails. If you guys have spark shads at home or mag draft freestyle or something like that and you want to turn it into a line through, this could be a really fun thing to play with. So that is also in there. And then finally, I basically just threw one of these in for everybody. Okay, we're way over the allotment, but this is something that everybody should play with. You guys know I'm a huge fan of an A-rig. A-rig gets a lot of love and a lot of hate, right? I think it's a very polarizing thing,
Yeah,
wouldn't you say?
Thing. Weird
Yeah.
thing.
So a lot of guys just dislike an A-rig, but there's no denying the effectiveness of presenting a school of bait versus presenting one bait, right? So Genius Project has created something called the Plus Blade School, and you've seen this on this show a few different times, and I'm going to take this out, I'm going to show you how to rig this, but this is essentially a way to create a little school of fish in front of anything you want to put it in front of. Okay, so when we take this out, it's going to come with basically 2 kind of arms and then some plus blade attachments. Okay, now these attachments are the same plus blades that if you guys have been adding plus blades to your spinnerbaits, same ones. So you can mix and match these. Everybody's gonna get a silver, because I feel like that's probably the most universal color. But don't be afraid to experiment. If you want to add golds or you want to do 1 silver, 1 gold, you can buy any different color combinations you want and add them to this. Take these pieces off. Got that great JDM tape holding it on there.
It's like glue.
Okay. So you're going to have essentially 2 poles. Okay. And then you're going to have 2 of these plus blades.
Those weren't going anywhere.
And amazing JDM staples. All right, so 4 pieces, 2 plus blades, a main pole, and a smaller pole. Now, what do we do with these things? So plus blades, okay, these plus blades are going to clip on to this main wire right here. Okay. 1. And CJ, when this first came out, you and me took this to Saguaro, and we were catching them on deep structure, and we were able to put like a big swim bait on there.
Yeah.
We did like a swim jig on there, a jig head with like a K-Tech on there. I've seen guys using crankbaits on there. So play with it, right?
You can't deny the drawing power of it, especially in deep water.
Instead of one bait, you're creating a school, right? Now, this top wire has a little like twist on the bottom, and you simply are just going to twist this on. And once it's on, it will kind of lock in place. Okay, and there you go. And there you have it, right? So you're going to tie to your main line right here, and then at the bottom you can attach anything you want to attach, okay? You can bend these if you want to bend them, you can leave them if you want to leave them how they are. And now you're just creating a school that is going to be flashing in front of your bait so that it's just creating this beautiful effect. Now, to bring this back full circle, Birkin swimmer would be the first thing I would attach to this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and this is just going to attach with a snap.
I like where this is going.
This is going to go on here. Okay, and now you have basically a full school out in front of your swim bait. So it looks like the whole school is moving through, and then this just becomes the target for the fish to go out and get. So you're not throwing an A-rig, right? You're throwing just one bait. You're just putting blades out in front of it. Is this cool? Is this crazy? I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. It's okay if it's both of those things. This would be where I would start with this, but you can put anything in this box on this. If you want to put the Evoke on here, you can. If you want to put the Bevy Shad on here, you can. But where it's really going to shine is with the soft plastics. So if you wanted to take this guy and attach it, you could. I would probably recommend doing it with the Oni.
Yeah, of course.
Flashy swimmer, right? So again, you could do the same thing here, and you can fish it like a fluke. You can fish it like a swim bait, right? So this would give you kind of a weedless presentation on there. So don't be afraid to experiment. Everything in the box can go on this. And again, you can mix and match the colors there to give yourself a lot of fun. So that's from Genius Project. That's the Plus Blade School. Have fun with that, dude. I'm excited to see what happens and what kind of creativity comes from that.
I think at one point we even had a silent killer on there. Like
we did have
crazy.
A silent killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you could do a wake bait, you could do a hard glide.
It looked good.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to play and to have fun and give the fish a different option when they're not used to seeing, right?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, so that is the box. I hope that was insightful. Once again, if you guys are subscribers, thank you very much for your business. I hope you are enjoying these boxes as much as I am. I love putting these together each month for you guys. If you have any questions on anything we covered, drop it down below and I will definitely get to it. The most important thing I can tell you guys is don't be afraid to play. So take what we just showed you, use it as a starting point, but do whatever it is that inspires you, because that's how new techniques and new kind of like secret little things are discovered. So I'm excited to see what you guys can unlock with this. Enjoy it. I'm super stoked for Matt Hasu. I know you guys are gonna catch a ton of fish on that. And again, if you have questions, drop it down below. On behalf of myself and CJ and everybody here at the Hookup Tackle guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for your business. And if you're not a subscriber, stay tuned. Just keep watching our social media. We will open it up once a quarter. We'll open up whatever spots are left, and we'll do something fun and let you guys hop on. Until next time, my friends, peace out. Thank you for your time. We will see you again soon. Enjoy.